Alright guys, so here I am. I'm making a 1800 Elo Master Yi video. So as you guys know, or you might know, um, I'm in charge of updating the Jungle Yi guide for lolpro. And when I got the opportunity to do it, I was just 1500 Elo Master Yi player. I think I was almost 1600, like 1580. And when I made the guide, well, not make the guide, when I updated the guide, I put a lot of work into it. I revamped like the whole strategies and tactics part. I updated the build, and basically after I did it all, I thought to myself, I'm over here thinking, I'm better than my elo, and I started to feel that people would not take me serious unless I got my elo up. Now, I thought about, I'm like, well, I could play Maokai, I could play Trundle, I could play Nocturne, I could play Jax, and I play some Gangplank. I used to play a lot of Gangplank, but I wanted to get there playing Master Yi because that's the guy I'm in charge of. So I'm just gonna lock this camera on me. I'm gonna talk for most of the time, so I can't really be distracted with speeding up the video. So I start working hard. I start practicing Yi harder, and eventually I'm getting like a low elo playing Master Yi. I'm like, wow, I am pretty good at Master Yi. And what do you know? Here I am. I'm 1800 elo. Now, I probably made a video last when I was 1700. I've went up 100 elo since then. And I don't feel like necessarily I've gotten better at Yi. I feel I just been playing to win more as Yi, which is great. So, the thing is about this is, so I make videos, right? And I plan to just update the guide completely with higher elo videos. So I'm making this one. I'm going to, if at least I landed that stun, we would have got a kill. But I'm going to make 1800 elo Master Yi videos to replace the current ones in the guide, so that the guide could be more updated. I'm also going to update the item build section and include more like situational picks and lots of different build paths, because Yi is very versatile in building. So right now I think I have about 4 solid builds, one for team fighting, one for what I do, which is just split pushing. They're all end game builds, by the way, and the outdated that build of Master Yi, who was pretty popular a while ago, where you would just have Atmos, Frozen Mallet, Warmonks kind of thing, right? But I plan to break down the item build section into multiple parts, where you can choose to itemize versus things. But I'm going to leave the core, hardcore Master Yi, this is how you play Master Yi split push build on the front page, because that is exactly how you play Master Yi. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. That build can work anywhere, no matter what you're against. If you build that, you're a really strong Master Yi to have in the game. Now, a lot of this video is going to be me talking, so just bear with me. I'm not going to really talk about the gameplay, even though it's probably interesting. I'm going to remove this actually so you can see more. But basically, Master Yi, I got to 1800 elo playing basically Yi. I'm in a way, I'm happy with myself, but I start thinking, some days it bothers me and I think, wait a minute. If I was playing another Chan, would I be even higher? The case is, probably the answer is yes. If I was playing a better, more solid for everything you do champion, I would be at a higher elo by now. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe I could play Master Yi to that elo, but it's going to take me longer. Why? Because I have a higher chance of losing when I pick Master Yi than when I don't. Why? Because one, you pick Master Yi and for whatever reason your team starts to give up on you. I've had so many games where I've been raged at so early because maybe I make one mistake and I hurt somebody in their lane. I just get raged at, and it's not rage about the play, it's rage because I picked Master Yi and I did this. These people might not even matter if I was playing Maokai and made that little mistake and maybe I die and they don't. Or maybe they die and I don't. They wouldn't care if I was playing Maokai. They wouldn't rage at me so hard. Another thing is Yi. His late game really calls for a lot from his team. That's why I generally resort to the heavy split push mastery, because that requires nothing from your team. All it requires is that your team holds down a tower 4v5, which is pretty simple if everyone's even and the enemy team's not crazy fed. But that's why I always recommend, if you're trying to play Master Yi, you go for that build when trying to carry games, and I don't recommend doing these other builds. But that being said, it doesn't mean these other builds are bad or you should stay away from them. He's very versatile, and almost any offensive item in the item shop that you buy would not be bad on him. Like, I think you could even stick a death cap on ADE and it wouldn't be terrible if you're getting these refreshes in these fights. Even though I don't recommend hybrid Yi, just for the sole fact it's hard to itemize for the penetration if you were to go for the hybrid Yi, meaning tanks you might not be cutting through so easily. Whereas if you were APE, you just slap a Void Staff on. If you're AD, you slap a Last Whispers. It's kind of hard or kind of awkward to get both, because you're just going to lose 2 IM slots for IMs who aren't amplifying one major source of damage. Now, doesn't mean hybrid Yi is bad. It can do some pretty funny stuff. But I'm going to focus on, when jungling, always go AD because you just shred through jungle creeps and you could get really farmed. APE can't really do that, and he relies more on ganking and less farming. He also can't split push well till he gets Lich Bane, which if you're a jungler can take a really long time. Master Yi. Other things about elo. A lot of people say this and they're right. If you aren't playing Master Yi to be the best Master Yi, or just being really solid in your gameplay and not making mistakes, I do not suggest you pick Master Yi. And I think if you are just gonna be playing Master Yi for fun, that you should stick to normals, because ranked is very harsh on Yi. You have to play really, really solid to get away with things. Because think of this, if you're in a team fight and an enemy dies, you get refreshed. But let's say I go gank bottom and an enemy lives low HP, I'm going to be hurt by it because I'm going to be eating a lot of damage, unable to get the refresh, and if I get counter ganked, I'm in serious trouble. Like here, if I was maybe Maokai, this dive would have been easier. But it's not, because Master Yi Sonya gets the kill. Look at all the damage I ate. Now you could also say if I was full HP, but any jungler can bring so much utility that damage isn't mattering anymore. Look at this. I have literally, if I were to activate this, I'd have like 140 damage, which is a lot for a jungler. Plus my 250 spell damage. That's a lot of damage when you combine that with attack speed. But the thing is, the game has become so utility based that Master Yi's damage isn't really mattering anymore. If he can't lock down his targets, he has trouble. And the Sona actually insulted me over it earlier. She was like, Master Yi does nothing unless his lanes do everything for him. And she's right in a way. If she doesn't have ulti, I'm gonna have a really hard time ganking. It's gonna be relying on me sticking to my target, which Master Yi has no problem with. But how do you get your laners to stick to the target if you aren't bringing it? Like, let's say my top lane was someone with very little CC but a solid hit, which is rare fine. Let's say my top laner was Fiora. I would have a pretty hard time ganking for her. She has a gap closer, but I'm just gonna walk in there and they're just gonna walk away. Go in here. Yeah. There's a lot of things wrong with placing Mastery in the jungle because it doesn't provide the best farm, and it just, his ganks only bring damage. But yeah, at the same time, with my lane partners, and everyone's picking champions with like strong kits who provide enough utility, Master Yi is becoming able to be played at this point. Like, look around the map. I don't see a single person who can't do something to assist in my ganks, and you'll rarely find a laner who can't do anything to assist in your ganks. I played Skarner again for the first time in a while, and it was basically like easy mode for me. I just walks in, slow some more, and if anything, I resort to my ultimate. Now, I do some pretty cool stuff on Master Yi. I run down lanes, I mix it up, I try my best to be like a solid ganker, even though I'm playing a champ who isn't known for his ganks. I mean, I have exhaust. He reminds me of Shyvana, but does more damage and gets his movement speed steroid later. Now, this is a close duel. I guess if I committed, I would have killed her. But I saw Vayne coming and I just said whatever. I knew that Q was coming from her too, so I wanted to make sure I was in a position to avoid it. I wonder if there's anyone who's actually going to pick up Master Yi and try a master and learn the champ as well as I did. But chances are no. He just, you know, they talk about this champ takes skill, and they talk about Orianna. And then I'm over here thinking, I think to myself, Yi takes more skill than Orianna. Why? Because with Yi, if you're stuck in a bad situation, what do you have to get out of it? You have very little to get out of it. I mean, if you're in a terrible situation. Whereas Orianna, you have movement speed, you have an ult who stuns and knocks up, you have a shield. There's like so much in your kit that even though it may take you a while to learn this kit, once you have the kit down, you have tools to react to almost anything that's going to happen to you. Yi, I mean, don't get me wrong, Yi has tools, but if he's in a tough situation or needs to hold someone down or needs to crowd control someone, he has nothing. Orianna needs to get away, she just uses her W. It's just like another problem with Master Yi. You need to know your damage, and you need to know the damage of everyone, because you aren't the tankiest, so if they decide to turn on you, you could get blown up really easily. I kinda outplayed her really hard with the help of Elise. It's just interesting to see how people think. Like, I get raged. There was a game I played where I just got completely raged at. And the reason I got raged at was not because I did bad, but was because I picked Master Yi. And I picked the Master Yi versus Shaco. Now, I've played Master Yi versus Shaco. I'm pretty sure I have games up already where I'm playing Master Yi against Shaco. But the reason they were raging at me for picking Master Yi versus Shaco is because Darius proceeded to go 0-7 and Lux went 0-5. And they went these scores versus their lane counterparts because Shaco ganked them. Now I think to myself, but I argue with them a bit. I think to myself, even if I was any other jungler, it would not stop Shaco from ganking him. So why are they complaining that I picked Master Yi versus Shaco? The reason is because Shaco has better ganks. That's really all there is to it. That's the only reason they're raging. But even if I picked a jungler with better ganks, it wouldn't have changed the fact that they're getting ganked by Shaco and dying. But people don't understand this, and it kind of bugs me because I consider myself a good Master Yi, and there's only so much you can do as a good Master Yi. If your team doesn't cooperate or falls behind early, it makes it really hard for you. But yet at the same time, am I a jerk for picking a champ that everyone shuns to play in the jungle because he doesn't have the best ganks? Or am I just getting insulted because people feel like raging at people who lose? Or am I doing my team a favor by picking the champion I have the most experience on it? To be honest, I don't really know. I don't know if I'm the bad guy, my team's just raging to rage, or if I'm being a good guy by disregarding what people shun and picking the hero, the champion that I have the most experience on. But there's a lot that bothers me when I pick Master Yi, because somewhere in the back of my mind, I'm thinking just like these guys when I say that if I were to play another jungler, I'd be stomping these games, and I'd just be winning games I shouldn't be. And the truth is, I'm right. And I'm wrong for thinking that. I'm wrong because I should be acknowledging the fact that I have so much experience on Yi that champion picks don't matter. And that's what I have been doing when I play Master Yi. I don't care about champion picks. I'll pick them versus Malphite, I'll pick them versus whoever. I don't care about these things. But yet, it's true. Picks do affect people. Picks do change things. Picks just, it all matters in the end. If I get into a team fight and I'm Maokai, I drop my ultimate down, my team takes 14% less damage, I jump in, I snare someone, I knock them up, and I play Master Yi, and I'm in a team fight, ulti, and I just auto attack someone and hope I have enough damage to kill them, and hope that I'm not getting CC. Certain champions have it easier. But if I were to play Maokai, I'm not the most experienced Maokai, and I'm not playing a champ that I know everything about. I'm playing a champ I know how to play, but I don't know everything about Maokai. I think I play a pretty good Maokai, but at the same thing, I don't know everything about him. Whereas Yi, I know everything. I've experimented so much on this champion. There's not a single thing I don't know about him. Now here's what's interesting, if I didn't accidentally burn my Ghost Blade in the fountain, I could use it to catch him here. But unfortunately I did. And I get CC, so I have to back out. And I just decided to go for the safer free kill and get out of there. But I guess that's just me. It really... not much else to do about that subject anyway. I rarely do that as Master Yi. But I think bothered me when I picked Master Yi was because I know how my team reacts. I know how they just don't seem to like Yi. No one likes Yi anymore. And to be honest, I don't know why I keep playing him. I don't think people even respect the fact that I picked Yi anymore. It's just like I'm putting a burden on myself, and I could be learning these champions are actually picked in competitive play. I could be a pro. Like, does anyone even want to see me play Master Yi? Does anyone even like Master Yi anymore? Does anyone even care that someone can? There's someone in 1800 Elo who just plays Master Yi. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I posted on the forums a few times to see if anyone would react to having someone play Master Yi, and I get nothing. No one just seems to care. But I like Master Yi. Should I just keep playing him because I like the champion? But the whole reason I even started playing this guy, I remember back when I first picked him up, we were all noobs then, I guess, and we would just take turns playing Master Yi, me and my friends, because he was just so strong back in the day. And then something happens once you hit level 30 and you find out that, damn, everyone's so much better than you. And you don't blame yourself, you blame the champion first, because you just see yourself you go into gank and Lee Sin comes flying out the jungle and he basically one-shots you early game with the Q, and you have no idea why that happened or what's going on, and then you play Lee Sin and you just do so much better. And that's how people become a product of champion picks. They watch competitive play, they watch all this, and they see these heroes, champions, doing so much more than what they could do with Hermandinger. Yep, here I am. I'm playing Master Yi again, and I'm still going to keep playing Master Yi. I did play Skarner and Maokai recently, and like I said, it just felt like a win. I think a lot when I play Master Yi because I have to. I'm forced to play at a higher level than I would be if I were to play a champion who has high utility. I'm forced to think of every single outcome. I have to calculate damage. I have to find out who I can duel. I have to do all this. Whereas if I was any other jungler, I would just go into a team fight, lock down a certain target, and have my team do the rest. But why am I picking a champ? I have to think about who I can duel. I have to think about how much damage I could take. Who has CC? I have to count everybody's cooldown. I have to watch Ari, see if she charms. I have to look for Lulu's polymorph. I have to see her wild growth. I have to know so much. I have to make sure I get a kill just to get a refresh. Is there any other jungler who actually has to think of these things? When to alpha strike, when to auto attack, when to back up. There's just so much I gotta know. And sometimes I get headaches playing Master Yi. I got one this morning. It was a really close game. I'm gonna upload that video because I was thinking a lot about builds and items. And it's actually a really long video. I have it made already. I'm making this one, who's also just as long because I haven't sped it up. But it just feels like a burden I just carry because I like Master Yi, and I will always like Master Yi. If Master Yi was the worst champ in the world, I would try even harder to master him. And he's not the worst. He's pretty solid in the fact that for what he's supposed to do. The only thing is what he does has no place in like competitive play. Just walking around split pushing in a way that you have to burn your ultimate every time to get away is just, it's not. Shen does Master Yi split push job better. There's just so many champs who do what Master Yi does, but better. If you want a split push, pick Shen. It's just so easy. Shyvana used to split push a lot, and she just fell out of competitive play because Shen just kind of does it better, and Shen can go in the jungle and he could go in the lane. It's just, I really don't know what I'm doing anymore. I just picked Master Yi and I got to 1800. I don't know if I'm doing myself a favor by playing a champion I like. I don't know if I should just switch over to someone else. I stall for both people to play bottom, to stay bottom here. And I just kind of sit around because I know that I can get away from whatever they're going to do. And I know that they're either going to have to sit here and stop me from pushing or run off to Baron where I'm just going to get the free tower. As a result, take the Baron for free. They try and engage on me and just back off. They have nothing they can do. But Vayne shouldn't have even thought about dueling me. The only reason I didn't go on her was because Lulu wasn't there. Because I thought Lulu was there. My bad, I missed that. But I'm going to make these videos and update the guide with them. They're pretty good gameplay. It's gonna be reduced from 3 to 2 because I think this is all you need. Just keep in mind anyone who's going to take the burden of becoming a Master Yi. There's a lot. It's a lot of work. I don't recommend it. Just go play some other jungler, seriously. This point, I don't know anymore. I get raged at constantly and it bugs me that I can't play the champ I like best without someone get on my team getting mad if I make a mistake. You gotta play Yi to make no mistakes, I know that, but just why can't you just get mad that I made a mistake, and why do you have to bring up my champion? I remember back in Season 2, one game I just got wrecked, and the person said, it's your fault, but he didn't say it's your fault for getting wrecked. He said it's my fault because I picked Master Yi. Well, if I ever got to see that person again or got into a game where I'm like, yeah, it's Master Yi's fault, I'm 1800 now. I just perfected one champion.
Killing spree.
And I'm going to use him to probably get to an even higher elo than 1800. If the new system drops, I'm going for even higher than the highest. I'm gonna do my best to maybe finally someone wake up and figure out, hey, what this guy does on Master Yi is incredible. He might actually be a good player. Let's have him play some other hero and competitive play. I'll play another champion. I don't mind. Just doesn't bother me. But I'll never stop playing Master Yi. I'll never stop. I don't think there's a single thing in the world that can stop me from playing my favorite champion.